Yeah.
I would imagine they'll justify it if that's what happens, Alice, by saying that they were worried about Antonelli and his progress. But Antonelli is what? 11 seconds behind Norris in the lead now. Depending on what, of course, they don't know what strategy Antonelli's going to do. They can't guess whether it be a 1 or a 2 at this stage. But I think it's going to be, in terms of the point of view of Piastri and his manager Mark Webber, I would imagine that this is going to be something that's going to cause a bit of ruction behind us.
Happening further back in the pack too. Esteban Ocon also pitting. Fernando Alonso pitted a lap ago as well and is now down in 18th position. Make that 17th as he picks off Oliver Behrman's Haas.
So Alonso's strategy has been to switch to the medium tyre. Could he possibly do an entire Hungarian Grand Prix on a one-stop strategy on the soft and the mediums? He's always been a bit of a tyre whisperer, Alonso, but that does seem a bit of a stretch. But there are only just over 30 laps to go.
So back up front then, and Lando Norris in the leads. He is faster than Oscar Piastri. Will Piastri be in his rights to feel aggrieved here by coming into the pits? He had priority, he was in the lead, he pitted before his teammate, but was there anything else Piastri could have done? Just stay out?
Yeah, because Lando wasn't able to find a way past, but then that would have put, I get it, that would have put, I think, the win hugely vulnerable for McLaren as a whole, and that includes Piastri in that, of course. So let's keep an eye out. But I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with Norris's pace. He is doing a great job. He is currently faster. Piastri's had traffic, but he's currently faster than Lewis Hamilton, who's out there at the moment. Again, might have had some traffic on that lap, possibly in the final sector. But hey, look, pace from Norris, I'm hugely impressed.
This is the sound of Charles Leclerc, who, having just pitted, is making his way down the inside of Isaac Hadjar's Red Bull and into 6th place. About 10 seconds behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri, having pitted a few laps ago, is 4th and is trying to close in on Kimi Antonelli in the Mercedes, but he's got traffic ahead of him in the form of the Williams of Carlos Sainz, and he catches him at the wrong moment. Sainz should be getting blue flags here as they come through the slow chicane, and Sainz decides to cut the chicane and let them through, and he'll have to do the same for Lewis Hamilton, who is not far behind Oscar Piastri here, only a second, but so difficult for the lap traffic to get out of the way in this middle sector of the circuit.
Yeah, it is, and they're in a race for themselves. Okay, it's a lot further down the order, but still, but it is hard in that middle section to get out of the way. Piastri radio?
Hey, who was
I didn't hear that, but
I think he's complaining about the traffic.
But there was certainly a bleeped out word, which I think you can guess the rest of it, as he does clear the traffic now and makes his way down the start-finish straight onto lap 39.
Fernando Alonso is going to be his next bit of traffic. So here we're catching a replay, and it is a battle between Stroll and one of the Williams drivers, possibly. I
think it might be Sainz and. There was contact between Oscar Piastri and the Williams. We didn't see that.
God, how was the idiot? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is Oscar Piastri, who collided with Carlos Sainz coming into the right-hand flick of turn 3. Sainz just not looking in his left mirror as he turns it into the right-hander, and on his left-hand side was Oscar Piastri, and I think Piastri is well within his rights to feel aggrieved there.
He is. He's lucky. Well, let's hope he's not got a puncture, and I'm trying to check out the front wing on the McLaren as well, and I think he's escaped with it. But yeah, you are right, it was Fernando Alonso that had come out the pits on that fresher set of tyres that's now allowing
Norris in the pit lane, Alice.
Yeah, and that's another slow stop for them. They've not been fully on the game with the slow stops, particularly on Lando Norris's corner. So let's have a look, Harry, where he's going to come out. Antonelli has gone past, Piastri in the background. I think he has done enough. He's definitely done enough.
And Piastri's going to see his teammate feed out ahead of him, but Piastri going to be on warmer tyres, going to carry the momentum. He's told his car looks okay, but through turn 1, Norris is in third and ahead of Oscar Piastri, but Piastri doesn't have the same pace so far this race to match his teammate. Lap 40 of 70, Verstappen now leads 3.7 seconds clear of the Mercedes and Kimi Antonelli. We expect Verstappen to come in again. We do expect Kimi Antonelli, I think, to come in again. We're still playing a bit of guesswork with that strategy. Lando Norris now third, could go to the end on the hard tyre. So too can Oscar Piastri, but I wonder if we'll hear a radio message soon from Oscar Piastri.
And I actually think that 8/10 was the gap. That contact possibly with Sainz, as Ollie Behrman actually went for a spin down at turn 2. I think that contact as well from Sainz has possibly hindered Andrew the progress there for Piastri.
So I asked McLaren what was the thinking behind Piastri's stop. Who were they worried about? And they say Hamilton. And he did come out not that far ahead of Hamilton, didn't he, to cover him. And I guess they were worried that Hamilton, having pitted for fresh tyres, might undercut them. I don't know, we'll have to go back through the race history chart and hear Andrea Stella's point of view after the race about that one.
Under investigation is that incident between Sainz and Piastri. We also just saw contact made between Hamilton and Fernando Alonso going into turn 2 as Hamilton was trying to get through on Alonso, and it was wheel-to-wheel contact. Looked like they both got away with it, but there's no love lost between the leaders and the back markers in this race.
That's Sainz that's cost us that target is to get to the end on this tyre.
Oh, mate. It's silly, you don't talk to me now. I'll send you guys to factory one inside voice. Thanks.
Why? Okay, so that's Oscar being told. Now, I don't want to, say things that maybe not mean it, but you can't place losing the lead to Lando Norris purely down to the contact with Carlos Sainz there, or can you?
Well, it's definitely been a factor, and I think if it didn't have that contact, he probably would have just, and I mean just, been ahead. But I think overall, as Andrew has said, they have done that to protect the race win, essentially, because they are in the prime seat. I know there's still plenty of racing laps to take place, but they are in the prime seat now to take this win, McLaren, where it maybe possibly wasn't looking so as Verstappen's in the pits.
Verstappen comes in from the race lead. Jenny Gow's watching.
Yes, the pit crew lifts him up, and it's a change of tyres, very fast change of tyres. I can't see what he's gone on to. It looks to me like the soft. That's a cool order, isn't it? Soft tyres to win.
As Verstappen then heads out into the start-finish straight, Antonelli leads. Lando Norris moves up into second, and here we're going to have a lock-up from Max Verstappen coming into turn 1. That's going to allow Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari to get close to him. Verstappen's going to have to be on the defensive here. Charles Leclerc, will he be forced to go around the long way? No, tucks in behind. This is the moment for Charles Leclerc. He would have seen his teammate Hamilton struggle to get through on Verstappen for the entirety of this race, but Verstappen's managed to stabilise, and through the left-hand flick of turn 4, heads up and over the crest and holds on to 5th place.
I mean, it's not going to be the win for Max Verstappen, even with this soft tyre, because he's not in the fight. Podium, possibly, but he's managed to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc. Now, back to Antonelli, a 1:24.7 he's done there. Lando Norris, a 1:22.7, so 2 seconds is the gap. Piastri, a 1:24.3. So he's just not having a time on this hard tyre at all, is Oscar Piastri. He struggled on the previous set, struggling again on this set.
And I said, didn't I, Harry, that there was be some questions from Piastri about McLaren's running of this race, and you could hear that, I think, in the tone of his voice. Don't swear word, talk to me now, guys. He's obviously not very happy at all. It's going to be very interesting to see the fallout.
I'd love to be sat in that debrief after the race, a fly on the wall.
It's always hungry with the 2 McLaren drivers, isn't it? For the last 3 consecutive years.
We're catching Antonelli nice and quickly. Let's just be measured when we get there.
Lando Norris, that was his team radio. Will Joseph, the engineer, just giving him words of encouragement. So he's 2.5 seconds back from Antonelli, who leads the Grand Prix. Antonelli having done 1 pit stop, technically own another if he wants it.
I think the tension will come especially if McLaren end up being 1-2, but Norris ahead of Piastri. If there's another car that ends up between Norris and Piastri, then Piastri's going to have less to complain about. But I guess McLaren would say, well, we did it to ensure we got the 1-2, and we might not have done it if we didn't pit you and get you out of the way because Norris was faster. Doesn't alter the fact that Piastri will see this. Most racing drivers will see this, Alice, I think, as a win that the team had taken away from them, even if they might understand once it's getting the cold like today why it
我 OK 啊，
Yeah, and I totally get it. We're not
成日都刮花㗎啦，
made
我
sure
翻工嗰度
that
都
we're not getting their McLaren's information, but he's not sat in a nice comfy commentary box.
佢架車咁
Every
細架得嘅，
to Racing Road. They
咁窄啊，
So I totally see Piastri's frustrations, but McLaren, you know, they pay their drivers. It's about doing it for the team, and if they're not just going to do it to just keep Norris happy or Piastri happy, they want to get the win at the end of the day. But yeah, maybe over the summer break, Piastri will understand once he's got all the facts. He's not been able to have the pace. And right, first sector alone, for example, as both McLarens are intervening, Lando Norris fastest first sector, 29.0, Oscar Piastri, 29.6.
Definitely got the pace, but the context is last year and the year before for that matter. Tension got quite high in McLaren when they were starting to fight for the championship. Norris was back at Piastri.
佢喺係啊，
Mark Webber was actually
唔係啊，你哋架車仲窄，
Mark Webber, the manager of Salisbury, former Red Bull driver in Formula One, hasn't been anywhere near as many Grand Prix this year, Alice, has he? As he did.
Australia,
Yeah, exactly. And that was because it created a lot of tension because obviously Mark was pushing Oscar's position as he would do, that's his job. And McLaren were like, well, let us leave us to it. So that's the context of this situation.
Well, we could fire ourselves down a rabbit hole on the McLaren discussion, but we're not going to.
We'll
Stay
save
back
that
at the
for
moment.
second time podcast, shall we? Which will be coming your way are usually either retired from a race or hoodling around at the back in no man's land, not fighting with anyone. A big upgrade this season coming here at Hungary for the Silverstone squad, who have been woeful, I think it's fair to say. Now, for the first time, with Adrian Newey at the helm, there looks like there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's still a way to go, but they're in the fight and they're in the mix, and that is all they wanted. And as far as they're concerned for this weekend, that will have been mission accomplished. Denny Gow.
Yes, staying with Aston Martin, Fernando Alonso managed 36 laps on his soft tyres. I'm just thinking of Max Verstappen on screen now, and he needs to do 28 laps on the soft tyre to make it to the end. Now, the reason I said he was...
When Gianpiero Lambiase, we heard him a few laps ago saying you might have some fun at the end, what he was talking about was that Verstappen is catching Hamilton at about sort of 4 or 5 tenths a lap. He's 3.8 seconds behind him now with 18 laps to go. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri is beginning to close on Kimi Antonelli, but it's the gap, is the pace difference between them is not that great. Again, it's fluctuating between 2, 3, 4, 5. So even if Piastri catches Antonelli, that might not be enough of a pace offset, Alice, for him to pass him. And that, again, come back to the McLaren controversy about pit stop timing, that again would justify their situation.
Yeah, it would, but...
But can we go on to Jen? We don't think we have the tyre life, so press and hold boost, press and hold boost.
Into the pits comes Kimi Antonelli. Jenny's watching.
Yes, the big puff of smoke is released as they put those tyre guns and wheel guns in. It seems slightly slow. Annoyingly, the clock isn't up on our screens, but it seemed like it was slightly slow for Antonelli. Where does he feed back in?
Verstappen goes through, Leclerc goes through, Antonelli will feed out in 6th place, about 20 seconds ahead of his teammate George Russell. Make that a little bit more as we tick across the line. Russell staging a comeback drive, but Antonelli disappointed.
No, you're clearly the fastest car and I've nothing to prove, so the steps of 4 and 8, no more.
That's some stern words there from, from Will Joseph, Lando's engineer. You don't need to be snapping the car
Basically,
through the corners.
rein it in a little bit, Lando. Don't want to risk running over those FIA curbs on the exit of 4, because they're big, can damage the floor, could cause punctures. And also, there's not much room for error at this circuit, so you don't want to risk it. Andrew, I'm quite surprised that Antonelli didn't bolt on soft tyre.
Well, why didn't he put on soft tyres? Why did he stop at all?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you know, the Mercedes engineers have a lot more information about their tyre life than we do, obviously, so we're just speculating. But Fernando Alonso went nearly half the race on a set of softs. So, I mean, to be fair, Antonelli to Mercedes, that is, Antonelli did have to do... Well, he's pitted on lap 22, so he would have to have done, what is that, Harry, 58 laps, 48 laps on a set of mediums, but I would have thought that was worth trying, because he was in 2nd place and now he's dropped to 6th.
Could be that situation that we saw with Mercedes at Spa, where Russell stayed out for a long time, wore the tyres down, came to wait in the end. I don't know, that would have been the same case for Antonelli. Or maybe it could have just been a risk issue, but in terms of just the tyre degradation, they didn't want to take that risk, not worth the risk. But I'm amazed he's on a hard tyre now and didn't opt for the soft.
I mean, what this does do is it causes more tension between the 2 McLaren drivers. The situation down there, if it ends like this with Piastri behind Norris, but Piastri hasn't had the pace compared to his teammate Lando. Here is Antonelli on the radio again.
So currently P6, potential for P2 here, Kimi. We've got a big offset on tyres.
So they're saying we are 6th, 2nd is possible, but you've got to overtake. However, you've got the fresh tyres to do it. Easier said than done.
It is, and when they do go across the line, I'll give you the exact lap times, but I think it's going to be optimistic.
16 seconds in 14 laps to pass Piastri for 2nd place.
Going to be hard.
I mean, that would be superhuman, wouldn't it?
Wow, he's been billed as a generational talent. Let's see what he can do. Kimi Antonelli, fastest lap he has. Last lap around, a 1:22.5.
Yeah, Piastri 1:24.5, Hamilton 24.4.
Slow McLaren, slow Oscar Piastri. He's slow coming through the right-hander of turn 3. And there's a problem, he's pulled off to the side of the road. McLaren are losing a 1-2 here. As Piastri reports, he's lost the gearbox. Yellow flag out. Will that get elevated to a safety car? And what will Mercedes and Antonelli think about that? It will close the door up. It's a virtual safety car for the time being, so the gaps theoretically stay the same. But Oscar Piastri, having led the early stage of this Grand Prix, looking set for a podium, now will leave Hungary with no points.
Virtual safety car, boring.
Let's listen instead to Oscar Piastri up through the gears. They're looking they were looking clunky as soon as he went for the second, third gear. And in the pits comes Lando Norris.
Yeah, you get a cheap pit stop under a virtual safety car. You only lose about half the time you normally would. 11.5 seconds lost. It's getting busy in the pit lane as some of the back markers come in as well. But this will ensure Lando Norris comes back out in the lead. Hamilton is coming into the pits as well. Jenny, have you got eyes?
I have. Lewis Hamilton pulls into his pit lane and pit box. They lift him up. It seems slightly sticky, but then back out again. Lots of people going onto the soft tyre now. So Norris on the soft. Verstappen was on the soft already anyway. Hamilton, I think, is put on the soft. They're now picking up Charles Leclerc. What's he going to go? Soft tyre as well. Lots switching onto the soft tyre. This is going to be an interesting finish to this race.
Double stack down at Ferrari goes smoothly. Lando Norris re-emerges in the lead. Verstappen, who has stayed out, has now gone up into second ahead of Hamilton. Kimi Antonelli, who pitted just before the virtual safety car on the hard tyre, is fourth, but he's behind soft tyre runners Norris and Hamilton with fresh rubber to the end.
Gone green. I think it's just gone green, but I was going because it was close for Hamilton coming out of pit lane with Kimi Antonelli. They were side by side in turn 1. So we'll have to capture a replay, possibly, of the safety car line. Who reached that first, you then get priority. But as you said, Harry, it's soft tyre runners. Antonelli's, well, eyesight's a wonderful thing. And here's our replay. Who's it going to be?
Well, Antonelli slows down dramatically. Antonelli gets to the line first. Antonelli gets to the line, the safety car line first. And Hamilton, though, has the inside line.
He's going to have to give place for that. Yeah.
And now they've seen that. It's that's Behrman, who's under investigation for ignoring blue flags. So that's just what's going on down at the back of the field. Here's Antonelli.
But I think I was ahead. Yeah, we're just talking it through. We think we were.
Right, Ferrari needs to react now. They need to hand...
They've got to do it quickly.
They've got to do it quickly because Hamilton's got the fresh soft tyres. Okay, they're not brand new, but they're still going to have more grip than the hard. The longer Hamilton and Ferrari leave it, here we go. So I think it's taking place down into turn 2. Hamilton gives the position back. Right move, right call from Ferrari.
Yeah, he slows right down going into turn 3 and then is already all over the back of Antonelli through the right-hander of 4 as we head uphill towards the left-hand flick of 4. Norris leads Verstappen by nearly 6 seconds. Then comes this fight for the final stop on the podium right now between Antonelli and Hamilton. Leclerc 5th, Hadjar 6th, Russell is 7th, Lindblad, Bortoletto and Lawson make up the top 10. Hulkenberg, Stroll, Gasly, Colapinto, Alonso the top 15. The two Hasses, Ocon and Behrman 16th and 17th, with the two Williams drivers, Albon 18th, Sainz 19th, Piastri out of the race, Perez out of the race, Bottas out of the race. 3 retirements, but the battle on up front.
Yes, I'm actually thinking that maybe Hamilton chose probably not the most ideal place to hand that spot back. He would try and have left it slightly later on in the lap, so he didn't have to follow the car through that medium to high speed big section. But Hamilton half a second behind, he takes the tighter line, they go round the final corner. He's going to have more grip, but has he got the pace and the power to get past, Harry?
Not sure he has on this time around. He slows it down for turn 1 and Antonelli holds 3rd place. Hamilton will be so frustrated behind the wheel of that scarlet red Ferrari as the sun glints off his yellow helmet, chasing Antonelli for third.
This fight is not just about third place between Antonelli and Hamilton. Max Verstappen is 6.1 seconds ahead of them, but he has much older soft tyres and he's lapping nearly a second slower than Antonelli, so they will catch him, I would have thought, before the end of the race.
A battle that could be for second place here, with Lando Norris 6 seconds up the road and in the lead and in control of this race with just over 10 laps remaining. This is the sound on board the 19-year-old Italian who leads the championship coming into this round 11 of the season before we head into Formula One's summer break. Through the penultimate corner, the left-hander, it loops round on itself. Hamilton will try and get a good exit out of the final corner. The right-hander, as you curve your way onto the start-finish straight, he's within a second. He should get the overtake mode. He'll get straight line mode. So will Antonelli. He'll try and deploy the battery too. And he can't close up on the straight. Closes up in the braking zone, but where the Ferrari is arguably strongest, in the medium speed corners, that's where you struggle to overtake around this circuit.
Yeah, and he's just not got the power, has he? And he's now gone, whoa, he's gone deep into turn 2, gets a huge snap of oversteer. Now, I'm definitely not being, I'm definitely seeing things correctly here, because I saw another puff of smoke come out the back of that Ferrari at turn 1. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Lewis Hamilton, though, getting all out of shapes. I wonder if there's a deeper problem with that Ferrari, and again, still smoking a little bit again coming out of that chicane.
Yeah, it's not as obvious. It's only obvious in turn 1, really, as we're just going to get another look at it through the left-hander of turn 3, and he just runs a little bit deep, gets on the dirty part of the track, runs out of grip, loses the rear, and sets himself back a few paces, and will have to mount his charge for third on the road once more. Lap 61 of 70. Lando Norris leads. Max Verstappen, Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris is told just keep an eye on punches. With this overtaking, I'm going through a lot of debris. That's what Norris is reporting there. So still a bit of jeopardy in the closing stages of this race. Right, try in the rugby league. Matt Newson.
Yeah, lead 6, Bradford 6, and it's a timely one for the league leaders. James McDonnell, 100th appearance, classic intercept try, streaked away and scored. Kick was good, lead 6, Bradford 6.
Norris, Verstappen, Antonelli, their top 3. Hamilton chasing, Leclerc on his own in 6th, Hadjar in 5th, Hadjar 6th, Russell in 7th, Arvid Lindblad on course for 4 points in 8th, ahead of Liam Lawson, who's having a nice battle with Nico Hulkenberg over the final points paying results. Hulkenberg benefited with the virtual safety car, managed to get back ahead of his teammate Gabriel Bortoleto as incident involving Hamilton. He's been noted for speeding in the pit lane. That's usually a pretty straightforward penalty during the race. That will and could have repercussions with time added on at the end.
It could, it certainly could. Interval between himself and Charles Leclerc, 5.5 at the moment. Hamilton actually came on the radio, Harry. We didn't hear it, but he said, is everything else okay with the car? And the team reporting back saying, yeah, everything seems fine.
Nothing to worry about then for Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton as it stands. As we get into the closing stages of the Hungarian Grand Prix, the two racing bulls are fighting hard on track. They've come close before. Lindblad ahead of Lawson, but Lawson is fighting here to get through. Tries around the outside, can't tuck it in. And you know what though? They've got to be careful here because they've got Nico Hulkenberg and the Audi right behind. Talk about a midfield scrap. This is it in a nutshell. Racing bulls fighting against the Audi.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we've got both Audis coming up to the back of this scrap. Hulkenberg, could he get his first points of the season as well? Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah, it would be. Arvid Lindblad, the British rookie for Racing Bulls, currently ahead in this fight. He's looking for a 6th consecutive point score. Liam Lawson, unfortunately, his run of points in 7 of the first 10 races ended last time out. He would so dearly like to return there. Now he has the upgrade. And for Nico Hulkenberg, well, he'd just like to score 1 point, please. His teammate, Gabriel Bortoleto, has scored all of Audi's points so far, which sits them in 9th spot with 10 at the moment. So Audi would need this point as the two racing bulls look like they're about to sideswipe each other coming through the final corner. They might have to just take a pause because they've got Max Verstappen in the big boy team right behind them looking to lap them, as Hamilton is now under investigation for speeding in the pit lane, and Hamilton now makes his way back up into this traffic as well, which Verstappen looks like he's cleared fairly swiftly. Hamilton will try and look to do the same, but he's got Antonelli ahead of him as well to do that.
Yeah, and Hamilton's having to make his way past Oliver Behrman there, so they're catching the traffic at the right